Hi guys, this is Katie from Touchplan. I'm here today with Layne Hess from Jacobsen Construction.
Good morning.
Yeah, happy to have you here. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us. So can you tell me a little bit about your background and how long you've been in the industry?
I've been in the industry for 37 years. I've been the corporate director of scheduling and planning at Jacobsen Construction in Salt Lake City, Utah for 18 years.
Wow.
I have an MBA from my college background. I'm a lead AP. I've been back in college days, was a laborer, learning how to put things together, to I've been in the top of engineering firms, a commercial real estate developer, and then where I'm at now.
Very nice. What sparked your interest in construction initially?
Taste, touch, feel. I can do it all in construction.
I haven't heard that answer before. That's really interesting.
Yeah, you can taste it, you can touch it, you can smell it, you can see it, you can live and breathe it. You make a difference in your community. You make differences for a lot of reasons with what you're doing there in people's lives and how it affects them. We've done cancer buildings back in Utah. We've done a lot of different things of that nature that make a difference in a lot of different ways with people, with communities, and that's really important. There's a lot that you get out of that. The natural passion comes out of that for me.
Right. Yeah.
And I like being behind the analytics, figuring it all out, but I get all sensories along with it.
That's a great way of looking at it. So obviously you have a very deep breadth of experience. How, in the time you've been in planning and scheduling, how have you seen that change over the years?
When I was in the engineering firms, we were back on Mylars, hand drawing. We went, and I was part of the converting into computer systems. I remember one story I had with a drafter is he had his mouse, and he took it up onto the screen, was clicking on the screen, and says, I can't get this mouse to work. And so I've been all the way back from there, from the drafting tables to the evolution of what computers are. I used to have a Mac and a DOS machine sitting on my desktops. I've come to that stage of it all. Good old fax machines came in. We thought it was the greatest things until they faded and you couldn't use them. Yeah. I've been through the evolution of all those things. I've taken from even in this position of all the different softwares that have come up through the industry on this side of life. I've been probably involved with a lot of their developments, beta testing a lot of things they've done. I've watched that evolution go from single-owned desktops, hard drives stored there, to I've converted out to the internet, our company, went that step, and now we're into the cloud-based interactivity with collaboration. The difference is we're collaborating now, we're smarter, we're better, we're finite in what we do. We're in the right place to get the right answers, and we're taking it out electronically in a simple manner. That's a big difference.
Yeah, it really pays to keep it simple.
It does, yeah.
And so with all the different softwares you tested, how did you come across Touchplan?
I'm part of a lean committee back at the company, and we've done the boards, the whiteboards with sticky notes, and the concept of collaboration is perfectly there. We, as a company, we're pretty much doing a lot of those types of things. I think what has happened is, again, in the evolution of time, they formalized. We formalized who we are,
right,
what we're
yeah.
about, how we've gone about it. We've raised the bar, we're getting better. Part of what we do is we believe we're always learning in the company. Always learning, always growing. And in that process, we just started finding out more things. Because of how long I've been involved, and I found my niche in life a long, long time ago. And I've always stayed there, and a lot of things are frankly easy for me to do. As I saw it all, I saw the good parts. So when I saw this first coming out, I'm like, I get the good of what's good in this. I also get where it's not lean. Mm-hmm. This is not a lean process. This is it's confusing information. The board's gonna get blown all over. We had a lot of problems with the boards. But you take the good parts out of it,
right,
and you pull those out. And that's what I was doing with it. How can I pull that out, and how does it make us better, and where is it not? And and that's what we were experiencing with some of those. And so we did a fair amount of that, and the collaboration was better. We were doing it, but we were getting better. And then I initially looked at, what is this about? What can I do? It's not solving what I need to do, it's actually causing some problems because it takes too long to do. And I started programming my own electronic software at the company. And then I started looking at it more, and I rarely go to the Layne conferences, and I went to one in Anaheim, and I met Amanda there. And it was a great experience. I had other software companies there, and I literally took one down and said, you need to go do what they're doing. and they looked at me. That. And they said, oh, okay. And I was talking to their senior project manager of software, because they know me, because I've been working with them for years. And I had to solve a bigger issue. The people that I honestly have the most respect for are the guys in the sandbox.
Right. Yeah.
They have the tools on. They're bent over every day. They're out in the cold. Those are the real people. And I have the utmost respect. I work from a corporate level, and we create all these things, get all these big projects for them. But I get to see it all the way to the end with them, and I watch what they have to do from all these entities coming into them. All these sources and all the stresses, they're at the end of the road. What can I do to make life better for them? We were doing really well. I've been there 18 years, and we've done exceptionally well, but we wanted to be better. And so Touchplan took us to the next phase of being better. And from what I've experienced and watched. So I took this from an evolution of, let's just beta test this a little bit. We chose some projects to do of different capabilities of personnel, but real capabilities. People that you go out there and they're absolutely fascinating and watch build. They can sit there and arm wave and do some things that it's amazing. So how do you tap that resource?
Right.
How do you tap it? And how do you get the new millennials coming up that have computer savviness? And how do you blend the two of them together? Touchplan did it for us.
That's great to hear.
It's huge.
That's definitely what we aim to do.
Yeah, and it's obvious because I have actual results now. It's been a month or two. I think I think I'm around 900 users now using the program. I'm probably around 19,000 activities in it. So it's company-wide. I'm an enterprise user because I saw it and do it. To me, is you want to get the right information from the right place, understand what it is, and get on with life. And this is what this helped us do, is it popped us out of that mold of where we were at before and brought us forward. So those are the biggest differences. And just listen to the real people do it. I go out there and I listen and I watch them. I have experiences with guys that, you get out there that have been using tools and they have great big hands, and how do I touch a little phone, how I touch an iPad, and watch them literally, after sitting next to a guy, drag something out, and there was his schedule and he was doing it. I've had instances where they caught me off guard and they said, hey, we got 10 guys in this room, can you kind of help us real quick? I walked into a room and there were at least 10 guys in there. Nobody was even logged into the software or anything. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do the short version. The short version took me 15 minutes and I had them running on the software, talking and collaborating.
That's great.
That's the difference. I think if you have that calm ability and focus to look at the things, and you can bring people together, and it makes sense, and it's simple enough to use, but it can be utilized in complicated methods. That's the difference between them all. I have been, we enterprised at the beginning of this year, and I've been involved with a lot of your people here. And the support here has been amazing. The difference is that here's a guy sitting out there, and it's freezing cold outside. He's got all these problems coming at him. He has to figure out, how do I do this new software? I have had superintendents on their own that call, and you guys sit there and spend individual time with them and talk them through it. When this first came out, I wrote my own manual. I wrote an entire manual for Touchplan, but I wrote it as we do business. And
so you adapted it to Jacobsen's process.
Yeah, our Jacobsen philosophies in life, and our clients. And the people that are doing the real work, so how do we tailor it out? And that's how I'm able to see through those places and assist in that. And since I wrote that, I have not redone the manual. It's just kind of faded away because the system in place was, once you get it, and a guy uses it a little bit, and the support he has available through your support here in the company, they have autonomy. They can see life the way they see it. They can learn it. What I say to them is, find your way of learning. Okay, your way of learning, not what you're told. Find your way. And with how this is set up, I have so many different individuals that way. I have an individual that's worked for 45 years, and he's going to retire at the end of the year, that he runs it 100% by himself, and he didn't do those things before. He called me the other day to ask me a couple of little things like, oh, okay, and he's going. I looked at his plan like, this is an amazing plan. How are you tapping? Getting that amazing knowledge out of people that have it, that have been in the industry for a really long time, and take it to the new technology of people coming up. That's what this has done for us. It blended the two together. I have 8 different types of trainings that I do, depending on whom I'm in front of. Mm-hmm. And one of those trainings I have is I specifically brought in the superintendents and the project engineers and joined them at the hip because they're dealing with all the subcontractors all the time. And it made a huge difference, big difference between them all, because I was able to blend amazing wisdom with technical capabilities. So now we're bringing them even faster, and I'm watching
the best of both worlds now.
Yeah, I'm watching our engineers grow faster, and I'm watching the old guys grow. You know, we haven't stopped that chain of evolution. And so the key is, have we made your life better? Have we made it easier? Can you go home to your kids at night because you actually have time to, because you're having a better day? Yeah. In real life, we still have some tough times and all that, but I believe this has made it better. We've just had 2 other sticking points that we use other types of softwares to do that with. And so the blend of this has brought us to a better place at this point in time. And the evolution of what I've been with you guys here so far over the last several months is that you're not stagnant. You're still figuring out more and faster and better, and you're really listening to us. No, you're really listening to us, because I deal with a lot of software companies at times, and do you really get heard? I'm not sure. And I feel like that there's been a connectivity of we just want to provide the right things for the right reasons.
Yeah, I think we really take the principle of continuous improvement to heart, which clearly Jacobsen does as well. So I think there's a good meshing of those philosophies. I'm curious, have you run into any challenges where you had users who had a little trouble getting started with it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
what do you do in those situations?
Well, there's a couple things in that. You still have those, and it's more in the trade contractors now. I can talk about that in a minute, but rather, our users there of what happens. Here's a differential that occurs for me. So I still run, Zoom meetings. I run Zoom meetings. I do, I'm running about 65 projects right now by myself, and I can do that because of technology, and because our people are better, and we're getting things they can with. But the difference that I have now from before last year at this time is they'll say, where are you at with this? And I say, oh wait, I got to open up my Touchplan, I'll let you know. I've never had that happen so consistently through a day than ever before, where I have credible information, they're saying where it's really at, but they open it, and I already have it open, and I'm actually looking at it. Mm-hmm. And they tell me, this is what it is, and this is why. And so now we have a mind trust of, I see across 8 different sectors of markets of different types of projects, and I can take, my abilities, I can take what I learned, and I can transfer it to the different markets. Hey, we learned over this market to do this, and they can look at it, and then they'll share it back, and I'll share it back over to someone else. But we see real-time results, and it's credible information, not just them, because what happens is a lot of superintendents just tend to tell all their trade contractors what to do. We're still working on that, getting them involved a little bit more, and I'm going back after trade contractors. We're going to be bringing in the ownerships of those and say, look, this is what this does for you. It's really about you, and this is how you can communicate not only with us, but you as a trade contractor, where you have a main office and you have many different projects going on, you can talk with each other now and see what they're really doing.
Yeah.
And you can really see, because there's so many times, this is really what I hear. I would hear, yeah, we really do need 15 guys. I'll just see what my office says. We stop at that point in time, get them on a Zoom meeting and say, office talk now. That's a big difference. You deal with it when you deal with it. It doesn't get put off the put off is that it's not going to really happen.
Right.
What he's really
Right.
saying to you is my office isn't going to give it to me. And the guys out in the field really work with us and tell us the truth. They say, well, I just don't think I'm going to get it. Well, let's get them on. Let's figure it out. We're now solving a problem that didn't get solved before. It just got left out.
Yeah.
The labor market is massively a problem. We have stuff throughout the country. It's a problem everywhere we're going now. And in trades, more and deeper breadth than I've ever seen. So we really have to be finite about what we're doing and why. The why behind what we're doing it. And it allows the why to be derived from the right place.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be spread quick and easy. I've been on Touchplan meetings where I'm in Salt Lake and I've had 5 other people in from different places around the country on it, solving things together. And you don't have to sit in front of each other to solve it.
Yeah, and it's good that in that way you keep that collaborative nature of the problem solving as well.
It is, and it's not one person doing it.
Right.
It takes all of us figuring it out, and all of a sudden, one guy will say something like, "Oh," it'll spark something to somebody else, and then, but you're doing it in real time.
Yeah.
Real time, and when I have the question, I'm dealing with it right there with the right people. Hey, let's call a meeting. You don't need to call a meeting. You're already in it, and you're doing it. And it's quick and easy. Remember, get in, know what you need to know, and get out and get on with it. And this helps solve that.
Yeah. Do you find now that you're using technology more than in the past, do you have access to data that you think you didn't have before?
Yeah, incredible data. Yes, and that. And I know you guys are working on more things that are even going to bring us forward. Watch out, everybody. There's some cool stuff coming out there. I know there's cool stuff. And you know, there's going to be some dashboards. There's going to be some things happening out there that's going to pop. What you want is a system that has readings back to the first user that he can self-correct with. You don't need somebody calling you, but it will go up the chain, because if you're not doing it, you'll be seen. So now I'm going to be able to see who's doing it, why they're doing it, how they're going about it, what are their percentage completes, why are they there, is it really a labor issue, is it a change order issue, who do I need to deal with? The next part that we're going after, one of the biggest holes in scheduling and the dynamics of scheduling is that ownership and design team involvement. And how do you get them involved more? You have your meetings, they kind of do a few things, but not everybody's in the same spot solving it. Mm-hmm. Now we're going and we're bringing forth our clients into this and saying, hey, look, design teams, look, this is why we need it and why. You get in there and help us understand your schedule. They get in and do it. They can see us, we can see them. It's all transparency. Again, now we're solving it. How are we solving it up front as quickly as we can? And we're understanding them better, they're understanding us better. So there's been a hole left out that I believe this also solves. And the big one is how do we become more integral with our design and in the same software, but have them, again, the guy that understands it, putting it in and typing it through. That's a major, big difference along with the software, what it provides.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I was curious, when you brought up your clients, how have they adapted to it? Do they find it useful?
It's right now, they depend upon us to take care of them. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do well. We're very good at that. And I think what they're seeing now is it's just now starting to migrate out that direction. So I had to take our company, our corporation, and it's like a baby was born. You have to feed them a little bit. You have to teach them a little more things. Mm-hmm. Then after that, they learn how to crawl a little bit more. Then they start walking a little bit more. And some take off and start running, and others aren't. They're in different phases of it, but I had to get our company to that point. Now I'm going out after the subcontractor market and the ownership markets. And so we're going to go back after. I had already had ownership on a huge project, very dear to everyone's hearts back in Utah. And I showed it to them once, like, wow. We want that, and we want to start doing that. And oh wait, you guys are integral, and it connects to ProLog. Yeah, it does. And so I have something set up where your team is going to be out to Salt Lake with me, and we're going to bring them along the lines. Educated, they're very well educated. Some of the people involved with this ownership group, and they understand what they need and why, and they saw the solution already. And we're just going to bring along the line. I think the elation is just going to be that they're going to feel part of it. That disconnect is somewhat there, where you go into those meetings, you're side by across each other from a table. It brings it where the table's gone, and now you're talking with each other. Now you're part of it. They're part of the solution. They're understanding us better. They're the cause and effects. You know, the problem that you have in our industry is the multiplicity of many things, small things creating a big problem, a wave of a problem that slowly starts to migrate and bend. It just hits you in ways that's hard to identify. This brings it out. It helps you deal with the real things. And the key is that for us, we were doing well. Not only did we want to get better, but it's one of those deals that if you can keep the wheels greased and you keep it cleaner as you go through the process, you're able to accommodate more in the ends. Because most all projects, they need a lot at the end. A lot of change orders, a lot of things. Well, how can you go about doing that? Well, it's because you got the basics done as much as possible and identifying the right areas. And this helps do that. It puts realism into it, because there's times where we need to all say, like, wait, the real goal is we want this hospital up and running by this date. We need to transfer patients on this date. What do we need to do to get to those points? And this is some key solutions for all interested parties, stakeholders, to communicate.
Yeah, and when you set out to bring this across the enterprise, was there anything that you did up front that you think helped make that change at scale?
I think there's a few things involved with that. The first thing of it is my relationship with the people. Mm-hmm. It's about trust. It's about filling their world, being a part of their world with them. I believe I know I have those relationships heavily built within our people with us. And we work together. We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot together, but they know how we work, and then we know we see it to the end, and we get there. And so I think the first thing of it is just trust. It's not a, hi, you're just going to do this. Not one project team needs to hear this. Here's another thing you need to start doing again. Here's another, we're going to load you up again. No, don't have a family anymore. Don't have a real life. No, that's not what it's about. It's about, we believe in a balanced life, a balanced family life and a balanced work life. And how do you do that? And so this actually amends itself to creating a better balance in life if we can be more efficient about what we're doing. So the first key was, it starts with trust. It does start, the right people need to believe in it, obviously. It does start from a lot of the top people understanding it, because they see the forest for the trees. They need to understand why we're doing what we're doing. You don't need to create bureaucracy in a company. You need to disseminate that. You need to clear that out and have that transparency. And when people can see that something you're really doing, and they're in their hands, and like, they did something that was really about me. So when I spoke with people, I said, this is about you. It's not about anybody else. This is about you. What is this better for? How can this be better for you? And just brought them to that process. And so in the trainings, what I did is I think what you have to tailor trainings. So when I brought up an entire corporation, I had Josie out there come out with me to Salt Lake, and we did 200 people in 2 days, in 4-hour blocks, 4 different sessions. And I did it differently, where I tailored it to a very simple, this is technically how you use the software, but I had the superintendents in with the engineers, and the engineers were just screaming, but I had the guys that were on the same project in the same room next to each other talking it through. So they created their own trust, and all of a sudden they got it. This is for me. This is for about what I'm doing, me, my team that's around me. And that was the difference. So I had to bring it clearly through. This is about for you guys. It's not about what somebody in a chair thought about for you. It's more than that. This is the first time in our company history we spent this much money for something on software. We're 97 years old, and we're an employee-owned company now since 2003, and it's made those types of differences. Proof is in the pudding. Somebody picks it up and it relates to real life. It makes things better and easier. It sells itself, because that's what it's all about, and this is what it does. It's made my life easier. I can actually even I told the corporation, you better get more work for me, because what we're creating here is streamlining again. Constantly streamlining. I really enjoy that. Yeah, I believe what I've seen here, the differences already, it sells itself because it really is credible in making a difference for them.
Right, yeah. So what would your advice be to someone in a similar position to you before you started using it?
First, understand what you want. What's your why? What your why is the company, what's your why in your different levels of your company. Understand what you really want in there and be sincere about it and open first. Then once you're at that place and you're seeing what's really going on and you're really going to see the truth of it, what do you do to make it better? All these little detailed, minute plans I see out there happening, they're just that, and they take horrendous amounts of time with very little result out of them. So you have to first decide what the end result of it is and what's the simplest way to get there. But remember, you're dealing with people that don't have email addresses. They don't. We had to help guys get email addresses at their companies. That's the real. Be real about what it's all about. And once you're at that place and you see that, then you say, how can I best bring all this together in one place? And so I would suggest that you first look at what your goals out of this, what you really want to have. And do you want to be key? Do you want to be a united front in the marketplace? Or you just want to be somebody that's, well, on a couple projects we'll do it, on a couple projects we won't. That's the most confusing thing for a subcontractor ever. Step back on the other side. Like, if I'm a subcontractor and you're doing one way and this way, I go another project, do another way on another project, continuity's not there. We're training a marketplace right now. We're taking a marketplace and say, we care about you in the marketplace, but you got to be consistent about it. So get your plan and together on that. I'd just use it. I would probably take a few rough people that struggle with that, team them with somebody maybe a little bit better on a project as a beta test. And I take teams that really accelerate on that and watch the difference and bring them together and hear them. It will just solve itself automatically because you're going to hear things you've been wanting to hear and you've been telling them about and all these cute little phrases you come up with, but this is real reality.
Yeah.
Stop and remember who they are and listen to them. If it really is about them, that's your difference. And if it's about them, because they have the relationship with the subs, you don't have this big relationship with subs as much. You're stepped back away from it. They can teach the subs. So it's a little bit about paying it forward a little bit as we go through this. So we do a lot of paying it forward to others and making it easier. And we still have some people that old dogs that don't want to learn new tricks, but it's trampling right over the top of them. Everybody else is going like, what are you doing? This is such a piece of cake. And I'm like, all right, I'll look at it. I had an experience. I called on a project and we were talking and we were doing a master schedule update because I maintain that. And they said to me, oh, hey, Layne, we need to go to the outside of the building. I'm like, well, how come? I said, well, we had originally 4 phases. We changed it to 6. I'm like, well, how did you do that? I'm talking with kind of a younger project manager and a lower superintendent. And they said, well, we brought all our subs in and we phase planned the whole thing in Touchplan, opened it up. I opened it up, didn't have that one open. Like, they redid the whole schedule. It was amazing. They said it was really simple. I said, well, did you go one step further? I said, what? And they said, did you analyze the result? You did it by date of how you go around, but did you analyze the result? The result is we have a marketplace with labor shortages. Did you click on crew size? See that crew size right there? We opened it up. The subcontractor needed 26 people. He had 15. We had another problem, but we had it in real time. The sub is the one who created his durations, and he needs to go figure out how to redo it. We told the sub 2 months in advance about that issue, and he retooled himself in the marketplace to come take care of what he knew he could do, because he was part of the creation of it. That's the solution right there. So if you want those kind of solutions, that's what this does for you. As a company, I think you take it a step at a time. So be committed about it, use it a little bit, use it on some and listen, and then choose how you want to migrate that out. And I teach project managers the program, but a little bit different on how to analyze it versus the other teams, so they're kind of a quality control versus the teams over here. I'm now going to, we get some dashboards and that going on. I'm going to start teaching executives and a few other things, some other things. We're working through that right now, and it's going to be pretty cool what's coming out. Because I've seen it.
That's exciting.
I mean, it's going to make life really easy from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
But the key is everyone can see the same information, and it's self-automated to where you can take care of it yourself. So the guy out in the field that's doing it is like, I had this, I didn't realize it. Because in software, you can't go in and just look at every little part. It's too much time to confuse you. You don't know the work. How does it do it? There's so much database built up in this already that all you're doing is adding some items on top of it so you can have the quick information. Where are my issues and why are they there? And so you're having real-time data again that you can deal with, and it focuses you. So it puts trust in the right place. So it's self-correcting. The people doing it can self-correct it.
Yeah.
And if they're not, guess what? The other people can see what's going on. Just take it a step at a time, be realistic about it, have patience with it. It will teach you, the people will teach you what they want. It's pretty basic stuff. This isn't hard stuff. It's pretty simple. You're taking complicated stuff and simplifying it, because they can handle pretty complicated things you do out there. I've had people that have come out of the woodwork and just amazingly soared in their talents, and I've watched them, I've listened to them. And I think it puts the credibility and trust factor back in. Now, because you're looking at trust on the clients, but now your trust with your subcontractors and the trust back and forth. Yeah, GC, you're going to keep yelling at me, but I can see out there you're not ready for me. Let's have the real talk. Well, the real talk happens now. And we all want to have that. There's no fake pass. It's like, what do we do, guys? That's the big difference. And I would take it a little bit at a time. I would say that from a company corporate perspective, you want to have a consistency on how you're seen in the marketplace. What I mean by that is not having different approaches, different softwares, and having teams doing different things. So the compatibility between teams, I think, is very big. That's what we went enterprise. Every ounce of every project anywhere in a corporation is on Touchplan. I even have a couple of them that they just do Touchplan. I don't even run my Primavera on it because they're just small enough and they can pop it so quick.
Right. Yeah.
And we just check it out that way. And I check in with them. We do our things the way we regularly check it, but they're just automatically doing it themselves. It's small enough they can do it. We don't have. It's not as big, and they need the criticality of critical path scheduling. But I even have a few of those right now, so it's very adjustable with how you use it. And they'll tell you. It'll show you yourself. The results just tell themselves. And it depends upon the magnitude of your issues. Again, we were very successful with schedules. We just want to be better.
I think that's the key, is the attitude, wanting to be better. Mm-hmm. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming in, Layne. It's fantastic talking to you.
Absolutely.
And good luck.
Appreciate it. Take care.